Welcome to Date Night Cook. Recipe tonight, duck breast. Now, before you run for the hills, duck breast is not hard. I love this recipe because this is my go-to recipe. And recently I spoke to some people about it and they're like, but that's not a simple recipe. You can't really do a date night cook on it. Yes, you can. We will do this today, and with very few ingredients, super simple. Of course, we're gonna need our duck breast, some basic salt and pepper seasoning, some salad and dressing to serve it with, and for the sauce for the duck, honey and soy sauce. Told you it was gonna be simple. Now, don't get me wrong. Duck breast is a bit of an interesting recipe and there are a lot of things that you gotta watch out for. But I'll guide you through every step of the way and you'll see that it can be simple. Now, first thing you wanna make sure that your date is a carnivore. Duck breast is not the kind of meat that you wanna cook well, or maybe even not medium, to be honest with you. Let's take a look at the duck. Looking at your duck breast, you will notice you have this one part that's completely white and is covered in skin, and then you have this bright red part on the other side. To cook this well and even, what you need to do is you need to render the fat. And all that really means is that this layer of fat that we have underneath the skin here, we'll need to melt it down so that the skin can get nice and crispy, and it will give you a much better flavor profile and a better bite. On this side, we have virtually no fat. So, a couple of little things you need to do to make sure that you cook a good duck breast. First, you'll notice you have this little fillet flap. Now, normally, I'd leave it in and cook with it, but for sake of making it simple and making sure it's done right, we're just gonna cut that off. There we go. Now on this side, we need to do what's called score the skin. And all it really means is that we're gonna cut it, not all the way through, but just enough to leave a little cut mark. Cut diagonally about 1/2 inch apart, all the way down the duck breast. And then we're gonna cut diagonally the other way. And all this is gonna help us do is make sure that when the fat gets rendered out or cooked out, it does so evenly and the skin will be even and crisp all the way through. From here, season generously with salt and pepper. And make sure to get both sides. This duck breast is ready for the frying pan. Frying the duck breast is relatively simple. Get a nice big frying pan. You don't need any oil. All that fat that's in the duck breast, that's all gonna melt in here and that's gonna be your oil. Make sure this thing is nice and dry and start cold. Simply place your duck breast skin down, the white fat skin down, into the middle of your frying pan. Put it on your element. And then turn your heat to just about medium low. We're gonna leave it there for about 15 to 20 minutes depending on your frying pan. And we want nice low heat. We wanna give it time for that fat to melt and to go away from the skin before it starts getting too crispy or too cooked. While you wait, let's get to the sauce. For the sauce, very simple. This is a little bit of an Asian inspiration. All we need, soy sauce and honey. How much of each? 1/2 and 1/2. And what you want to do is give it a quick mix. It will not all mix together well right away. You actually will need to let it sit a little bit. Let that soy sauce dissolve the honey a little bit. But it's okay. We won't need this until the very last part. And even if it's not perfectly mixed, you're fine. The duck breast is going to keep going for about another 10-15 minutes from this point. Perfect time to put together the plate. As you might have seen me do before, this part's super simple. Just take your mixed greens, place a good handful in the middle of your plate, spread it out a bit, make the bed of leaves or a bed of salad that you're gonna put the duck breast on top of. Grab your favorite salad dressing, and in this case I went with sesame, because duck breast is going to have very much of that soy sauce, sweet and salty kind of Asian flavor to it. I thought this would be a good compliment. Not too much, just a little bit. And you can set that aside. This part's ready. Now, if you're more advanced and you want to try making your own dressing or dressing this up a little bit with some fried noodle chips or peanuts, anything like that, go for it. I'm just keeping it simple just to show the basics of the duck breast. About 20 minutes in, the duck breast is almost ready for flipping. You will actually see a little bit of that brown beginning to creep up the meat. And what you're looking for is when you flip it, when you see this, that nice golden crispy color. That means it's about ready. But before you do so, crank up the heat. Go almost to the max, but not quite. Right about there. Once you have the heat cranked up, give it another couple of minutes. You want that skin to get nice and crispy. Think bacon. 2 minutes later on high heat, you flip the duck. And you can see this nice golden color here. On this side, you only need about 5 minutes max. This side of the duck is much cleaner and cooks a lot faster. This is a good time to check up on your sauce. You'll notice that it's definitely a lot more mixed in now. And you want to be ready with this. You put the sauce on only for the last 30 seconds. This is probably the trickiest part of the whole recipe. You're going to need to put the sauce on, quickly roll the duck breast in it, and then take it out. If you keep it in there for too long, that mixture of soy sauce and honey is actually going to burn and crust and ruin your whole breast. Now when the duck breast is almost done, and it looks nice and golden like this on the other side, turn your heat back down to that original low setting that you had. And this is where you got to move quick. Take your sauce, pour it right in, right over top of it, and just quickly roll your duck breast all in it. Make sure you get all of it. If you have to, if it's burning too quickly on you, remove it from heat. And just take the duck breast right out. Whew, you're done. A very important part. Let the meat rest. And what chefs usually mean by that is don't cut into it right away. Let it sit. This is duck breast. Give it 10 minutes. It's so full of moisture that if you cut into it, this whole cutting board is going to be flooded. So you need to wait, you need to let it cool, you need to let those juices thicken back up inside the duck breast so that when you eat it, it's going to be nice and juicy. To serve duck breast, you definitely want to pre-slice it for your date. It does give it a much nicer appearance and you get to see that beautiful red color on the inside. To do it well, you got to cut it on what's called a bias. And what that means is you slice it diagonally like so. And you will notice more liquid will start coming out of the duck breast. This is fine. It is very, very water-rich meat. Normally, I would serve a whole duck breast to a person, but it's a nice summery day, this seems like a light salad, and this is a rather large piece of duck. So in this case, I would go with maybe about half per person. Simply lay it out on top of your salad. Just like so. And from here, if you haven't burned any of your sauce that was in the pan, this would be a good time to take a little spoonful of it and just pour it right over top. Just beautiful. Duck breast salad. Your date will love it. Duck breast salad.
Wow, looks so cool. Please like and share this video, follow us on social media, and check out datenightcook.com for more cool stuff. No, I like it better than steak.